All right. It's me, and it's me, and it's me. Hey there. Week 4. Can you believe it? Really, in a sense, we're close to halfway. So if you're feeling that, it's probably good. I'm going to go over the week's work in general, but I'm also going to cover something about what happens if you don't do what I've been trying to say, because we have moved now during this week to working locally, version controlling our files, doing the workflow. You'll learn that this week, and then pushing it to GitHub. And you might wonder why so much emphasis on this. Well, it is a fundamental skill that you need to have in this industry, and everything that we're doing is really hopefully meant to give you an added skill to your skill base. So that's why the emphasis here. And I've seen students that this is kind of the only thing I see until Project Zero. But again, Project Zero, the more time you give yourself to work on it, the better it's going to be. But you'll see this actually starting about this week forward, at week 4 forward. Almost every week, I will have something related to the Project Zero, right? As a way to help you prepare and get that work done. So we merged together, in a sense, those two. All right, so, but before I do any of that, I'm actually going to show you, because I had said before that I have a discount code for those of you interested in going to DevFest on September 21st, and I have those codes. I'm not going to actually talk about it in this video, but the code will be in the post. Oh, that was one thing. Some students got a little confused, and that's okay. We're still all getting used to each other. But I turn off the ability for you to hit reply to the current week's post at noon on Friday, which means I'm almost close to the cutoff for week 3. And then I open up week 4 on Friday. So that one goes until the following Friday, right? So it's Friday at noon to Friday at noon. The videos are still available, but you cannot reply after noon. And some of you thought that was midnight, and it's not. Only because I do it during the day so I can review the students who are here, what their grades are they doing attendance? And remember, it's not counted towards your grade. So just FYI. Okay, so I'm going to give you a link, but Valley Dev Fest, right? You're going to hit reserve a seat. And on reserve a seat, it's going to take you to Eventbrite. So you go ahead, tickets are normally $20. Again, breakfast, small breakfast and a lunch and some swag and just a great day. So over here, so normally you see the price here. There is a processing fee. Enter the code. I'm not going to again do it here. You can find that code, but once you hit apply, then you will see the $5 discounted ticket that you can get. Okay? So do that if you'd like to go. That would be awesome. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to go ahead and roll week 3 up. And then in week 4, so we did HTML last week. This week makes sense. We do a little CSS. Okay. So actually, now that I'm looking at this content, it's actually in week 5 that we start looking at, and I have you start thinking about the Project Zero. So I was a little ahead of myself there, but as normal, right? There's 3 items that you need to do. Follow along. Hope you're enjoying the coding versus notes concept here. And then this is the workflow. So this is what I want to spend just a few minutes talking about, right? What you're going to learn. I'm going to give you a preview if you haven't done it, but many of you are actually taking 93, so this is a little bit of a review, but still, even for that class, this would be good to know what happens. So I have opened my editor, and I'm using my 93, so it doesn't matter because the structure is similar. So let's say I have my README file open. I'm here locally, right? And I decide I'm going to make a change here, right? So change to local README file. So we know that this is what you're learning this week. I'm going to do a git status, right? So I'm going to see that there's a file. I'm going to do a git add start. I'm going to do a git commit. I'm going to commit this into the local repo. Now, only local, I'm going to say updating readme file. Okay, so what I've done here is I've committed this, and if I do, and by the way, arrow up, because if you want to do status, so I can see that I'm one commit ahead. So it just means I just need to do a git push and push that content out to GitHub. And that's the process you're going to be doing. But the reason I'm showing this is what happens if you, and I'm going to do this, make changes. Now that change I just made, because this is the same file out on GitHub. Now it could be other files that you're changing that aren't the exact file, but the process is going to be, especially for the same file, because I'm going to show you that. And so let's just say I then go over here. I edit this file. This is what I'm saying don't do. So I'm doing the thing I told you not to do, which might not be good, is changing file from GitHub web interface, right? Now I have to do a commit here as well, but it looks different because it's a web interface commit, right? Now I'm just taking the defaults here, okay? So right now I have a conflict. Now I'm not seeing the words conflict yet, but if I went, and I'm just gonna do a clear, just to clear and do a git status again. I still have the same condition because I have my local repo that has a change to it, but I want to do a git push that pushes my changes from my local to the web, right? So now what could happen, boom, and this message can feel daunting. It's like, what the heck, right? So it's rejected. Why is it rejected? Because updates were, right, there was a conflict. There was a change to that file already out on the web interface. So it's trying to push a change to a file that already has a change to it. Because from now on, I want you to only change local. But I'm showing you this in case for some reason you think it's okay, but you run into this error. So in this case, I'm showing you the example of the same file. So in here, it actually shows you, right? And by the way, read the full message. It gives you a bit better description. But if I do a git pull, now git pull says bring the changes from GitHub local. And it's going to say, okay, it's actually showing me, check this out. This is VS Code making it nice. So here's the current change that I did, and here's the change from the GitHub interface, right? So they're like, there's a conflict in this. So I have options. I can either accept the current change, accept the incoming change, accept both changes, or compare the changes, right? Maybe, and what this really means is if I was doing coding, it would show you more of that detail. So let's just say accept current changes. Right? So that would only change then what's here. Like, so what it's doing is it's looking at what was out on GitHub, but it's changing my local to accept only changes I had here. So now if I do a git status, I see I have a modified file. And now if I do a git add git commit, again, if you haven't done this, you're going to learn that this week, right? Resolving conflicts. Cool. And now if I do a git push, right? Because again, before I do that git push, I want to show you, right? This file right now, because all this work I did, which was resolving the conflicts, first doing a git pull, resolving those conflicts, right? Did it locally into my local repo, my local file system. But now if I do a git push, right, it changes, it modifies, takes the modification and it pushes it to the web, right? Which means, boom, those changes are now in sync, right? So my point about this is don't change files out on the web interface, but if you do, there's a way to fix it. Okay, that's my point about it. And by the way, there are multiple ways to fix it. The other thing is, and I'm going to warn you that one of the nice things about VS Code is after you learn how to do the command line commands for the Git workflow and you feel comfortable with them, you can use the interface here. I think I show that in a future week. So But I definitely warn you, don't do that until you're comfortable. And the reason why is, especially if you're planning on interviewing in this industry, they may ask you to actually do these commands. And if you're using this fun little quick way of doing this workflow in the editor, you lose some of that, what we call muscle memory. Okay. Okay, so I think that's about it for me for what I have for this week for you. I have released the week, you can actually see now, and you're listing the week 9, the project 0. A couple of you were asking me about this, and you were asking, well, what if I did something different? And you know what? It's really cool. Here's what I want you to think about. And you'll see this as we move closer into it. And you'll want to make a decision about this early on, is you'll need to have a subject of your project website, whatever you're doing it about, that you have enough content to get all the menus. Because what I require is between 4 and 5 menu items. What that means is your content will be organized into 4 or 5 different categories, of which you will have subpages on them. And then there'll be a total number, and I think it's 21. Matter of fact, let's go look now that I've said it, because I don't remember. Here it is. Week 9, project 0, really important, right? 4 to 5 menu items, right? Categories. And this is where I talked about the alternative, right? 21 pages, which includes your index page, organized into these 4 or 5 categories. So why am I talking about this now? I just want you, if you are going to use something different, run it by me. Make sure I am aware of it. And make sure you have enough content for these 21 pages. Okay, that's the important part. And it's not that it has to be a huge amount of content. Matter of fact, that's one of the reasons many students have chosen to organize this class content, because they already have the content, but they organize it in what they selected as far as menu items. And it wouldn't be organized the way I've organized. Anyway, I'm not going to get there. We'll get there as we get closer. But I just wanted to clarify, yeah, you can choose something else. Just make sure that you have a depth enough in that topic to be able to create the content that you need for this. Okay, so in your reply, tell me anything that you're going to remember about this discussion, or ask any other clarifying questions, any questions that you need clarified. Have a great, wonderful weekend. It is a holiday weekend, so we get an extra day, right? And peace out.